Hey YouTubers, it's Steve again coming from a new room. This is Rescape, my YouTube channel that seeks to aid and benefit people by helping them be more aware and informed of their fundamental perceptions of reality and how safely altering that can improve their quality of life or help others, and how the world can be changed as people change their fundamental perception of reality. And that's Glow. And this is her new home because my sister's moved in now, and she brought two dogs and another cat, and my two cats are trapped in my bedroom, and they've never seen a dog before, and one happened to run through the room, and so they're kind of a little on edge right now. And Zaxby actually disappeared for a whole day. I searched every nook and cranny of my apartment and could not find her, and then she decided to come back out today. But so we've been having a fun time, and today, last week I did a really haphazard video on information and like what the nature of informational systems are, as far as how I define them and how I think they apply to fundamental perception of reality. And recapping, information is not stored. It has an aliveness quality. It is perceived only in the present moment. Um, some other things. Glow, quit it. Put it out. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about altering the information of your reality. Now, with you alter information, well, actually today is a great day to be doing this because my sister pulls up in a truck with 4 boxes, 2 of which are multi-100-pound boxes. We have to get on stairs, just the 2 of us, putting together her bed. Now, we get all the boxes set up or move to a room, and then I leave and come back a couple hours later, and now there's cardboard boxes everywhere, and I'm having to get everything out of the room she's moving into, which was my study. And now my study's in this room, which is my bedroom, and we put together her bed and her room, and so everything's just moving around, literally like cardboard box pieces flying everywhere, and like. But the point is, there is a large transfer. There's like a large amount of information is being inputted into the system, and that, in this case, my study's being dismantled and turned into her bedroom. My bedroom is being changed into a study. She's moving in. She's got animals, so there's relationship issues going on there, and it's long term. One of the keys with like adding information to a system is it's not just like a one. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a one-time thing. Like, for example, if you are put a TV dinner into the microwave and you cook yourself a TV dinner and you eat it, well, you changed the information in the system, but it was temporary. If you redecorate, that's a little bit longer. If you renovate or add another room to your house, well, that's long. That's going to be a long term. The more long term the information adjustment is, the more your spirit will invest itself. So, like, for example, if you decide to switch careers, like, that's a very spiritual move. Like, your spirit has to look far into the future to when you're a different career and how that will be. Whenever you plan ahead, like, for example, my study isn't that big, so in order to move the mattress, we had to move a box, we had to move a drawer, to move the whatever, to get it all situated so we can get the headboard in the right place. And so you have to, like, I had to think 4 steps ahead to know where I'm doing now. When those steps ahead that you're looking forward to, like, your spirit goes out to those places and it kind of feels those things. And so, like, if and then your mind gets involved in this way. Like, let's say you have 5 things on a table and you have to move them to a chair. So if you're like, well, now I'm going to move this thing on the table to the chair, and I'm going to move the second thing on the table to the chair, and the third thing, that puts a stress on your spirit that wouldn't be there if you were just like, these 5 things on the table are going to be moved to the chair, and then you just do it. You don't think about going about doing something. You just have a goal and you do it. And so, as you get more in tune with your spirit, you'll be able to do that on more of a macro level, where like back a couple hundred years ago, farmers would literally take care of their whole farm, and like they spend like 70-80 hour weeks just in the present moment doing whatever they do. Like, it's not about how to go about doing it, they just do it. And so I think we lost a large part of that. I know before my journey started for real, like, I had real hard time like managing even small tasks to like prepare things, like even real small things, like to get out like a cutting board to cut stuff, knowing that I would be cutting stuff for a meal. I would be making the meal and then being like, oh, now I need to cut something, so now I'll get the cutting board, and then I wouldn't have the knife out yet, and so it would all be discombobulated. At my worst, I wouldn't be able to turn the lights off in my house in such a way that I wouldn't be going through a dark room to get the last light turned out before I got into bed, because that part of my mind spirit that would then go ahead and plan those things out in advance to change the information, that it wasn't working right. And that's really what the spirit is. If the spirit is the expression of information in the system, like I said, if you want to check out my past video, then when you alter the information in the spirit, it's your spirit that's changing. And so it's your spirit that, like, when you pray or manifest something, like, you're taught in The Secret to really like hone in and like feel the really what it feels like to be in a certain situation, and then it'll like magically manifest itself. But really what you're doing is the same thing as taking those 5 blocks on the table and putting the 5 blocks in the chair, and you're not thinking about doing it one at a time. You just, that's what you want to happen, and so it happens and it's done. You don't even, and you go do something else you don't even think about, and then you forget how you did it because it doesn't even, it's completely irrelevant. So on a macro level, when you start feeling into the future of the way you want things to be, your spirit on very subconscious level is already making modifications to the information in your system, such that those things will begin to occur. Not necessarily out of magically, though, there may be an element to that, but just based off the things that you notice, like that you'll start selecting things that'll lead you to certain places. Certain things will start occurring to you that'll lead you to certain places. So, and when you change, like what I'm doing with my apartment or my condo right now, like changing all this stuff, like from my training, like I can feel my spirit, like kids don't like to clean their room, but it really doesn't take a lot of effort to clean your room. Like, if you're not accustomed to changing information in systems, just doing a moderate amount, you'll be tired, except you're not physically tired and you're not mentally tired. It wasn't mentally stressful, you're not sweating, but you feel like, but you want to you start wanting to procrastinate and go do something else, like, oh, let's just take a break and we'll go, have a beer or whatever. But you just worked for like an hour and you're not tired in any possible way. Why do you want to stop working? What's the limiting reagent there? And when you're changing information in your system, the limiting reagent is the softness of your spirit. So it goes back to that. And there's some other things too, but basically what I wanted to lay down with this video is that everything from changing your future goal, who you want to marry, career, all the way down to, sweeping the floor in your kitchen, like it's changing the information in your system. It has the same mechanisms involved. One's just a lot bigger than the other. One you're able to be much more aware of than the other because it's more in the framework of what your mental framework of, like, a broom in your hand or whatever, and you have no idea how you're going to get the job 20 years from now to be CEO of some company, but that's what you really want. But if you maintain that in your spirit, your spirit's aligned to that, then the information will start bending to have that occur. The last thing I want to say is, when you apply information in a system, when you have a system with no information, it's random. It's the nature of the universe to be chaotic outside of just the laws of physical laws of the universe, and then look at what I believe the laws of the spiritual realms place or whatever. But if you are in a place, if something is occurring that appears to be random, then your spirit's picking up on that or expressing itself as no information. As soon as you alter that in any way at all, even the slightest, then there's information in the system because your consciousness has affected that. So you could say, like, if you have food and you're chopping it and then you stir it up, well, the food in there had order, did it? You just kind of threw it in haphazardly, but then when you stirred it, now it's uniform. So some people would say, like, well, entropy is the opposite of order, but when you stir something, you are adding entropy to it, but it's becoming a more ordered system. It's becoming more uniform. So it's not necessarily the same thing. Like, if physicists are watching this and thinking I'm talking about, order and entropy and things like that, is not necessarily the same thing, because pattern recognitions of the spirit, and one person won't recognize the pattern that another person recognizes, so they can be looking at the same thing, and the same thing will have order to one consciousness, and it'll be random to the other consciousness because it won't know what to look for. So, but if a consciousness adds order to the system, it will recognize it, either consciously or subconsciously. It has to, because it's the one that did it. So anyway, that'll go. I'll probably do another video on that. Hey, it's only 9 minutes, so I'll leave it at this for now. This is gonna get some really dry stuff. I kind of feel selfish, like, talking about this, because it's not really, doesn't seem like it's gonna, like, change the world or help anybody. But at the same time, this is important. If people really want to dig into what I'm talking about in the videos I'm going on in the future, they're gonna need to watch these videos, because I'm going to be making jumps that are going to be assuming people have watched videos on information, and so they can follow along. And there will be some pretty profound things, I believe. I've been watching videos, people doing videos similar to mine, and I love people have their niche, and I believe I have my niche, and I don't think this is the way I'm going to demonstrate the mechanisms for fundamental views of reality and how they bend and shape the universe for a person. Like I have not found anyone. The only people that I know that think like this don't have videos. Like you won't, they don't write books. So if you want information, I'll just present it here. Anyway, this is Steve at Week 19, I think. I don't know, but if you have any questions, post in the comments. It's Rescape, adding information to a system. I will see you guys next week. Thanks, bye.